Hey, what's up guys? Phil here from Aspire Fitness. Welcome back to the channel. So we have another fun recipe for you guys today. We got the beefiest Japanese bento boxes you could find. We got two different kinds of beef here cooked in two different kinds of ways. We're packing these with protein and making them a lot healthier than usual. So let's get cooking up, guys. I saw this bento box on Mikey Chen's channel and I had to try to recreate it for myself. In today's recipe, we'll be packing each meal with a ton of protein while keeping the flavors in check. So the ingredient list will be down in the description below, so make sure you get everything before you start this recipe. So let's start off the list with a little bit of onion and green onion. We got a half cup of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of oil, 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, 2 tablespoons of monk fruit sweetener, 2 tablespoons of mirin, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch mixed with 1 tablespoon of water, 1 tablespoon of butter, half a cup of water, 8 ounces of sirloin, 4 ounces of ground beef, 3 Japanese plums, salt and pepper to taste, and we didn't film it here, but we got 2 cups of rice to finish. Let's start off our recipe by cooking up the ground beef. Let's pour in half the oil into the cast iron pan and heat it on medium-high so we can thoroughly cook up the ground beef. Starting off with the ground beef, we'll leave some awesome fond and residual fat that can go into our teriyaki sauce that we're going to make. You'll get this super flavorful sauce that goes beyond any teriyaki sauce that you can get from a bottle. After the oil heats, let's add a pinch of salt, some pepper, and a teaspoon of garlic. Most of the seasoning will be coming from the teriyaki sauce, so make sure not to add too much. Cook this up for around 5 minutes or so and make sure that beef browns from the fats in the pan. After the beef is thoroughly cooked and you can visibly see and feel some crispy bits, let's remove it from the pan and work on the fond that is formed on the surface. This will add a ton of beefy flavors to our sauce and will really elevate it to the next level. Turn the heat to low and add in the soy sauce, garlic, water, and monk fruit sweetener to create the base of our sauce. While the solution cooks, make sure to get a wooden spatula and scrape the fond off the pan so we can let it dissolve and incorporate it into our sauce. After cooking up the sauce, let's add in some onions, mirin, and cornstarch to thicken. You'll find that the mixture will thicken into a sauce rather than a liquid solution and will be packed with flavor. This sauce will be overly salty, but it will be the main seasoning for the dish, which means it will compensate for the lack of salt on the thin slices of beef. Make sure it's overly salty as the dish will thus be seasoned perfectly. Cook up the mixture for 5 minutes or so on low heat and put it aside to top our beef when we plate the dish. Now let's get on to cooking up the star of our show, which is going to be our piece of sirloin. Sirloin is a pretty lean cut of beef, but with some care, we can keep it tender and perfectly cooked so we can enjoy the steak for our meals this week. Let's start off by seasoning the steak with salt and pepper. The trick to a good steak is to let it rest in the fridge after seasoning, as this will decrease moisture, which will result in a better crust as we cook. Let it rest for at least an hour or so the seasoning can also penetrate the inside of the cut. Now let's get on to cooking. Let's add in the remainder of the oil from earlier and make sure to heat on medium-high so we can get an awesome sear on the steak. Once the oil is heated, let's add in the cut and let it rest for around 2 to 3 minutes. Cooking steak is really an intuitive process. For a leaner cut of steak like this, you want to use its feeling as a measure for its doneness. When you feel it get firmer and less squishy, it's most likely a minute away from being perfectly medium rare. If you're someone who doesn't have too much experience with cooking up a steak, then using a thermometer is totally fine too. Just get it to 125 degrees Fahrenheit and let it rest for 10 minutes to allow it to come up to a perfect 135. After the steak is nearly done, let's add in a tablespoon of butter and some heads of garlic to flavor it. Most recipes call for 2 to 3 tablespoons here, so we can save on some fat calories by only adding in 1. Use the spoon to baste the steak and quickly take it out after around a minute or so. Now let's take out the steak and let it rest on a plate so it can continue its cooking. If you're unsure, then make sure to put a thermometer into the steak and let it rise to 135. Mine eventually did get to 135, but I couldn't seem to get it on camera. I never really use these things, but it turned out great in the end, so it doesn't really matter, so who cares. Now let's get to my favorite part, which is seeing a perfectly cooked steak. This turned out to be a super tender piece of steak, and it was seasoned perfectly as we made sure to let it rest in the fridge for an hour. Just slice this up into thin pieces and let's get on to plating up the dish. Plating is definitely the funnest part in this whole process since I can work on my food styling skills. Just plate everything down and go for whatever style you like. You can totally copy ours when you make this, or you can try something out for yourselves. This is really a delicious meal, guys, and it can be customized to whatever fits your nutritional needs. With the amount of ingredients we used, each meal came out to be 521 calories with 37 grams of protein, 46 grams of carbs, and 21 grams of fat. You can add more beef to get some more protein, or you can mince some rice to lessen the carbs. The world is your oyster, so make this fit for whatever satisfies your needs. Let's pour on that sauce, and that is it for the recipe. This was delicious and it's perfect for anyone looking to gain some size. We'll have everything written down in the description below, so make sure to check out the recipe there. So I'm super excited for these ones. I actually got the inspiration for these bento boxes from a Mikey Chen episode. He was in Japan and he had these really beautiful bento boxes. They're super thinly sliced, so like a little thinner than this, but I actually prefer like it to be a little thicker. So, oh yeah. I'll make sure to put the nutrition facts in the description below. Just letting you guys know, the ingredients and the recipe is always in the description, so you can make sure you just check that out every time you try these recipes. So as I finish this up, I just want to say thank you so much for helping us reach 3,000 subscribers. It's been, I know it's not much, but it's been a lot for us, and it's been a really long journey, and we've been putting a lot of work into this channel. So thank you for anyone who subscribed. So if you're looking for more recipes that you can find on our website that haven't been featured on YouTube, you can check out our cookbook. It's going to be awesome. There's 15 recipes in there. They're all aimed for weight loss, so if that's something you're interested in, you can go check that out. We'll put the link in the description below. That's really it for the recipe, guys. So thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next one.